Hello guys, I'm Grawshellar and today I'm gonna review the OP04 Doflamingo deck, so let's go and take a look at that. Okay, first of all, we have the leader, Don Quixote Doflamingo. This is a green and purple deck, which is very interesting because we're gonna have sick combination of cards here, and the ability of this leader is quite interesting indeed. At the end of your turn, you set up 2 of your Don cards as active. Now that means that every turn you're gonna be able to defend with a 2-cost counter for free. Like, that's amazing because you can spend all the Dons for playing things and not having any preoccupations or anything. Like, you can play a defensive card for free. And that's really stupid for defense, and we will be seeing that. But this deck centers around film cards. Basically, like, you can do other combinations for sure, but the film cards are gonna be really strong in this one. Okay, we start with 4 copies of Tony Chopper, film, red, the 2-cost, 2k. It's just a 2k counter, right? You're probably never gonna use this card by itself, just as a counter. Okay, 4 copies of Nami film. This is a standard card in any film deck. Like, yeah, 4 copies of this. For 3 is a 5k, that on play. You pay 1 more Don, and then you're gonna search at the top 3 cards of the deck for 1 film type card, add it to your hand. So you're gonna be drawing 1 extra card every time you play with this and pay 1 Don, or when you attack with the card and pay 1 more Don. Again, you don't need to leave open Dons for defense, so you can spend Dons for drawing extra cards with this, and you're gonna have both film green cards and purple film cards, so you're gonna be searching for a lot of cards with this. So you're gonna have a lot of hand with this deck. We have 2 copies of Brook. For 4, it's a 5k on play. You play a cost 3 film character from your hand or Stronghold Crew. This is part of the film combo. Like, with this card, you're gonna play the Nami one, right, for free. And then 3 copies of Monkey D. Luffy film. For 7, it's a 7k blocker. And on play, you play 1 film or Straw Hat Crew type character card with cost 4 or less. So you can play Luffy, then you play Brook for free from your hand, and you play Nami free from your hand, all with 7 Dons. So if you have that combo on your hand, congratulations, you have done the perfect turn for film characters, because that's really stupid. You have like a 7k, 5k, and a 5k on the table, right? Just for 7 Dons, which is, it's pretty stupid, it's pretty strong. That's why this deck still uses these OP2 cards. Okay, we move on to different cards. This is one of the cards that don't have film, but they're pretty strong in OP4, so we're gonna be using this. Okay, for 4, not for 4, 4 copies. For 2, we have this card that has 0 attack power. You only want to play this card for like an action, right? And then the enemy is gonna remove this card from the table, obviously, super fast, but if you can protect it, it's kinda annoying. The on-play effect, you rest a character of cost of 4 or less, which is already quite good, right, for 2 Dons. But then at the opponent's turn, if this card is alive or on the field, it gets pretty annoying, right? In the opponent's turn, once per turn, when your opponent plays a character, if your leader is Don Quixote Pirates, which in this case it is, rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with no limit. Then you rest this card. Yeah, you rest it, but if you have like a trizillion blockers, they need to kill this card as fast as they can with effects, or put it at the bottom of their decks, or stuff like that, because you're gonna play a character and they can rest a 10-cost character from your field. like, that's really annoying. This card is gonna be really annoying to deal with because of that. I mean, yeah, you rest it, so they are gonna pop it super fast. But if you get the enemy unprepared for this, you can destroy them pretty easily. Okay, we have also Don Quixote Doflamingo super rare. For 10, it's a 10k, and the on play, it's kinda sick, right? Because a total of up to 3 of your opponent's rested characters or leaders do not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. That is amazing. Like, that can give you victory. Imagine playing this turn after turn. Your opponent cannot put to active any of their cards. Like, that's an automatic win. They cannot attack with their leaders because they are rested, right? They cannot refresh that. Then heavy attackers that they have already attacked with, right? They stay rested, so they cannot activate those. So if you can play this in a chain, I think you are guaranteed to win. Like, they cannot stop this card. This card is silly. But if you play it well, oh my god, that's gonna be stupid. Okay, we have another film card, this time 4 copies of Shiki, the purple card from OP2. It's gonna be a 2k counter, like 100% of the time. Then 2 cards of Queen. I put this on the deck, at least 2 cards, because I still feel like this is a really solid card to have, right, for purple decks. For 5, it's a 6k blocker, and on play, you return 1 Dawn to your Dawn deck, then you draw 2 cards, you trash 1, so it's a good refresh of hand, and you draw an extra card. It's kinda good. Like, this is a really solid blocker. Okay, 4 copies of Uta. This is another film card. As I said, you're gonna have a lot of film characters, right, to look for, and you're gonna have 2 searchers. So you're guaranteed to be drawing cards like super fast. You're gonna have a really big hand, right? The only cards that you cannot search for are gonna be the events and the 2 Don Quixote super rare cards. Other than that, you can look for anything on this deck. Okay, the Uta blocker for 4 is a 5k blocker, and on block, if you return 1 Dawn, you rest up of 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. That's pretty strong. Really solid blocker, 4 copies of that. Then we have Guild Tesoro. You can put this card, or I don't know, you can put more queens probably, or other kind of cards, right? More like film green cards. But I feel like this card is really decent, and the opponent has to remove this to get it out of their way, because this card can give you a really big advantage, right? You're always gonna have 2 open Dawns at the end of your turn, so you don't care that much when you reach like 10 Dawns. Then you can play this, right? When attacking, you return 2 Dawns, and then you draw 2 cards. So that's pretty strong, because you're gonna attack for 6k at minimum. You return 2 Dawns that you're gonna recover the next turn, right? And then you're gonna draw 2 extra cards, which is huge for any deck. Drawing that much is amazing. Okay, 4 copies of Buena Fiesta. This is your searcher, but also a 2k counter. So if anything, use Nami, and if you cannot use Nami, you can always use this at worst to look for cards, because you can look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 film card other than this one, add it to your hand, the rest bottom of the deck, any order, like any standard, right, searcher. But it's a 2k counter too, so I would keep it in difficult situations, but it can work both ways. Okay, now we move to the events, and this is why this leader is pretty solid. Like, the ability is really good, even if you have 4 lives, because it's a bicolor leader. You have the ability to use these 3 type of events that I'm gonna be showing you guys any turn for free, because you're gonna have 2 active dons, right? Like you have 4 copies of Punk Gibson for 2, you have 4k counter, and then you can rest a character of 4 or less. So really good, really solid for this deck, because you can defend with that, rest a character, then you play Doflamingo, super rare, that character cannot be refreshed in the next phase, pretty solid. Okay, we have Spider's Web. This card is new for OP4, for 2, it's a 4k counter, and then you can set up one of your characters as active, which is huge because you can set up like Sugar as active and they cannot attack it, for example, right? Or a blocker. Primarily, I would activate a blocker. If you have blockers on your field that have blocked, right? You defend with this, with them, then you activate them, you make them active again, right? So it's pretty strong. And the trigger, it's kinda nice if you get it like in the first life you take, and if the opponent is gonna attack with a lot of characters, like one of your leaders gains 2k power for the rest of the turn. So you're gonna be defending with 7k with your leader, if this is a trigger. So it's also a nice trigger. Okay, 4 copies of Thunder Bagua, another pretty standard card. You have 2 or less life cards, and again you have 4 in this leader. So you're gonna have this pretty fast. You defend with 4k, and then with the 2 or less life cards you add 1 Don card rested. So again, with the ability of this leader to put 2 Dons to active to defend, and the ability to recover some Dons, like I wouldn't care using those Don -1 or Don -2 abilities. Overall, this is a pretty solid deck with different characters and a really good defense. I have to test it yet, but I feel like it's pretty strong, and it looks fun and annoying as hell. So we will have to see. Anyways guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy these videos of deck lists. Click the subscribe button if you like the content. Click one of these videos that you are gonna be seeing here, and I'll be seeing you guys next video.